Our team has you covered this afternoon. We'll get to a check of the roads and down trees as well as power outages across the Piedmont Triad in just a bit. But first, let's begin with Chief Meteorologist Lainey Pope. Lainey, the danger remains above and on the ground tonight.
Yeah, the above meaning those tree limbs and the trees that have the weight of the ice on them that could still come down. Also travel out there. And of course, we'll be checking in to get the latest on road conditions. We have the gray skies. The good news from the weather department is that it could have been much worse, and the heaviest precipitation is over. There will still be some light precipitation, and of course the prolonged weight on the trees could still cause some problems as we go into the nighttime hours. Notice we've been downgraded to a winter weather advisory now across much of the area, so counties showing up there in purple and towns there. Less of a critical nature to this, but where it was coldest this morning and where it is still coldest this afternoon, from Greensboro to Reidsville up to Martinsville and Danville, still under a winter storm warning. And there's a little bit of precipitation that's left over. Most of that's going to fall, at least the measurable precipitation, across the eastern part of the Triad as we go through the evening and the overnight hours. There could still be that mist and that very fine light rain or freezing rain that is coming down across much of the area. But thankfully, with the heaviest rain getting over early, our temperatures bumped up above freezing, and a lot of folks are sitting in at least the low 30s above that freezing point. Precipitation here as we go through time will be very spotty, and I'm talking about measurable precipitation. Remember, the mist is everywhere. By tomorrow morning, we're going to try to shake this storm out of here. We'll keep some light freezing rain and drizzle in. There may be a light wintry mix in some of the mountains. Of course, the ice remains on the trees and power lines, so we're looking for the possibility that some limbs and trees and lines could still come down, and slick travel is possible with that refreeze out there of wet roads, black ice, especially elevated roadways. I'm forecasting temperatures tomorrow morning at or below freezing. So yes, we will be concerned about slick spots overnight and tomorrow morning as well.
All right, thank you so much, Lainey. Let's get out to our reporters in the field now. We begin with Kenny Beck in Winston-Salem. Kenny, how are conditions where you are along Stratford Road?
Talitha, they are not terrible. It's very cold outside, of course, but the highway was fine. I-40, side streets. This is Stratford Road, right in front of the Thruway Shopping Center. Not a whole lot of traffic. Of course, most folks playing it safe and staying home. And of course, we're in the middle of a pandemic as well, so the overnight curfew is going to kick in a little bit later tonight. So not a whole lot of activity, but nothing in terms of the ice storm impeding travel or causing any major problems. As Lainey mentioned, it certainly could have been worse. The margin for this was always within a couple of degrees. If we'd been just a little bit colder, the story here certainly could have been much, much worse. That's not to say some people didn't deal with all kinds of difficulty today. We want to continue our team coverage now. Ford Hatchett spent the day traveling Winston-Salem, checking out some difficult spots, and he had an easy time finding quite a few of them. Ford, what are you seeing?
Well, Kenny, here in Winston-Salem, thankfully we didn't see any major injuries or house damage, but all day long we saw crews cleaning up fallen trees and limbs from roadways and even some parking lots. I want you to take a look at some images here from the Ardmore Terrace apartment complex earlier today. This was one of the worst incidents we saw. A massive oak tree falling just before 11 a.m. and leaving at least 6 cars seeing damage. The crew on site tasked with removing the tree telling me it would be a lengthy cleanup process, at least 2 or 3 hours, and they suspected at least 3 of the cars had been totaled. Now, thankfully, no one was in the parking lot at the time and no one was injured. And Diane Green's car was among the ones damaged. And although she feels fortunate to still have power, she won't be pulling out of the parking lot anytime soon.
Well, no, I don't think it's drivable. It's dented all over the place. The roof, the back window is out. That's why it's covered. I'm trying to keep the rain out, but the hood is dented. I just took pictures. I've already talked to insurance.
And Green said she's already booked a rental car. The cleanup crews on site there told me that they've seen most of their calls in Davidson and Forsyth County today, but with all the ice still on the trees, they're not sure their work is done for the night quite yet. Kenny?
All righty, Ford, we appreciate it. We want to show you some other scenes earlier today. This is what it looked like just a few hours ago on Silas Creek and Haynes Mall Boulevard, not far from the mall. A tree toppled over by the weight of ice. Accumulation of ice can increase the weight of a branch on a tree by up to 30 times, 30. We did go by this intersection later this afternoon, and it has since been cleaned up, thankfully, but dramatic images there. Let's continue the team coverage now. Justin Schreier is keeping an eye on situation with regards to power outages, in particular in Forsyth County. Justin, it wasn't that long ago that Forsyth County was the worst place in the entire state for outages.
And Kenny, that is absolutely right, but we have seen those power outages go from in the thousands drop down to below 1,000, specifically in the Winston-Salem area. I believe at last check it was about 700 outages or so. I want to show you this massive tree here. I'm going to step out of the way. We are on Pennsylvania Avenue here in the Winston-Salem area. Just a short time ago, it fell over, taking with it several different power lines here. There are crews on scene. We do expect them to get out the chainsaws in the next couple of minutes. The crews are working on the lines behind it as well. But as I was saying, we saw a lot of those power outages move from 1,000 to 2,000 to 3,000, all the way back down to the hundreds. So Duke Energy tells me this afternoon that they are making significant progress within the triad. Coming up tonight at 5 o'clock, you'll hear from Duke Energy. Kenny, we'll send it back to you.
Justin, thank you very much, and we sure do appreciate all of the hard-working linemen and women who have been out in the bitter cold, in the rain, in the freezing rain, trying to get the electricity back on for everybody, because as Laney Pope said earlier, we are expecting temperatures to get very, very cold tonight. And of course, there are a lot of folks who are still in the cold and the dark right now. This full screen shows exactly who is seeing what. Again, massive improvement in Forsyth. We've still got a few thousand that are out right now in Rockingham County. Many other spots throughout the Piedmont Triad that were in the thousands are now in the hundreds. Let's continue our team coverage. Rockingham County, one of the spots that has been problematic at times on and off throughout the day. There's a state of emergency there right now. Leanne Denyer joins us live. Leanne, what are you seeing from that part of the Piedmont?
Well, we were in Madison, in Eden, and in Reidsville, and I'm pleased to share that things actually looked pretty good. That doesn't mean that there weren't people who didn't have problems today, but emergency services kind of echoing the same sentiment, saying that they were really pleased with how this storm turned out as well. We spoke with emergency services, and while that state of emergency that you just mentioned, Kenny, is in effect, it's not going anywhere yet. Kate says that he does expect it to stay in through the weekend. Let's show you some images. We'll show you what we saw as we were throughout the county today. You know, we saw people who were out and about trying to get their trees cleaned up from outside of their homes. Again, some folks had their power out. Dispatchers, they were really busy today. Lots of calls about trees and power lines being down and power outages. Emergency Services Director says that they did expect this storm to cause more problems than it did. That being said, everyone still being urged to keep an eye on conditions and continue using caution.
The event certainly is not over. We're still mindful of the conditions. We are still strongly urging people not to travel. If you don't have to, stay home. Wait until the entire weather event has passed.
So Kate's told us that they brought in extra staff to help with this storm. And he said that some people they didn't end up needing to use, and he was okay with that. He said that they're always going to over-prepare. He said this actually turned into a great training opportunity so that they could take a look at how things played out. Overall, he said he was very proud of Rockingham County for how they handled this storm. We'll send it back to you.
Leanne, thank you very much. Always better to be over-prepared than overwhelmed, for sure. Before we send things back, one other quick note, something that my photographer Teresh and I have noticed quite a bit here, right outside of the Thruway Shopping Center in Winston-Salem, and I imagine this is true in a lot of other places as well. A lot of signs, a lot of overhangs, power lines, and stoplights have some icicle accumulation. They have been melting kind of on and off. These aren't enormous icicles by any stretch. They're not a foot long and several inches in diameter, but they can fall, and without a whole lot of notice, pan down to the ground if you would. They have been falling steadily. If you are driving or if you're walking under any kind of an overhang, these can come down and at the very least startle you, if not knock you on the head or knock onto your windshield without a whole lot of warning. So if you do have to go out for some compelling reason tonight, do be advised that this may be part of what you encounter as well. For now, we are live in the city of Winston-Salem. We'll send it back inside to you.
Big thank you to all of our crews out there braving the elements for sure. Thankfully, as we've been mentioning, not as bad as anticipated this go round, but please be careful. There could be down power lines with nightfall that you might not see, and even down trees as well. Don't forget about your fur babies during this ice storm as well. Pet owners should wipe off their dog's legs and stomach when they come on inside. Dogs can actually ingest salt, antifreeze, and other chemicals while licking their paws, and their paw pads could actually bleed from exposure to snow or ice. And if you own a short hair breed, make sure that you throw on a coat or a sweater for walks outside. And as we head into break, here are just a few of the photos many of you have sent us. Thank you for sending these photos. We love seeing pictures of what it looks like in your neighborhood, but please do so safely. You can send us your photos to uLocal on WXI12.com, or even by joining the uLocal North Carolina group on Facebook.